Hey gang, let's talk a little bit about area today. How to find area. Area is, when we talk about area, usually area goes together with perimeter. You probably hear them both together in class. We already know perimeter is the outside. Perimeter is all the way around the outside of a figure. Perimeter would be things like if you're putting a fence in your yard, okay? Because the fence would go around the yard. It doesn't do anything on the inside, but it goes all the way around the outside. That's perimeter. Okay, the walls in your room go around the perimeter of your room. Okay, area is the inside. Area is the total space on a flat surface that thing covers. Think about a rug, for example, in your room. The rug covers your floor, right? So when the people who came in and installed the rug, they had to know the area of the floor. They had to know how much space that floor took up. That's what area is. It's how much space is covering a flat surface. This whiteboard has an area. It covers a flat surface. So that's the area. The amount of space it takes up is called the area. So how do we find area? Well, there's two ways. Okay? The easy way is when you have a picture that's divided into squares, because the area is always found in what we call square units. Area is always measured in squares. Now the squares can be different sizes, depending on what you measure. If you're measuring in centimeters, then you have a square centimeter, which is very, very small. If you're measuring for carpet, they do it in square yards. A yard is like making a W with your arms. A square yard is very big, okay? But it's always in squares, okay? So, if I'm looking at this figure and I want to find its area, well, I could count the squares. I could say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And I could say this has an area of 15 square. SQ is the abbreviation for square. And since it's not labeled, I would call it square units. If it's not labeled with centimeters, inches, feet, yards, I could call it square units. So it's 15 square units. Now, most things in life don't have lines that are dividing it into squares. So we've got to find another way to be able to find the area of that figure. And here's how it's going to work. If you have a rectangular square, and again, think about most places where you go. Most rooms and buildings are divided into rectangles or squares. Yes? So we can find the area of a rectangle or a square by multiplying its length times its width. Okay, length, how long it is, wide, how wide it is. Now let's talk about why we can do that. Take a look. If I were going to measure this side, how long is this side? Well, it's 3 units long. I can see them. It's 1, 2, 3. It has a width of 3 units. If I was going to measure that side, okay, the connecting side, it has a length of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. So what I have then, if I were to draw these 3 units across and then draw the 5 columns coming down, it creates a series of intersecting lines and it creates squares in the middle. I have 3 rows of 5. 5, 5, 5. So rather than counting, okay, I can multiply. If I know I have 3 rows of 5, that's going to be 3 times 5. 5, 10, 15. And I get the same area that I did when I counted. When they come to put carpet down in your house, they don't lay down squares and count them. They measure 2 connecting walls. The sides always have to be connected. Okay, they have to be 2 connecting sides. Length, width, connecting, touching. Okay. They measure one wall, they measure the other wall, and then they multiply, and they know exactly how many squares it would take to cover that surface. That's what area is. So this would have 3 times 5 would give me that area of 15 square units. All right. Take a look at this one down here. It has a length, or it has a length rather, of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It has a length of 8 units. It has a width of 2 units. Okay? Now I could count the squares, or I can multiply. If I have 2 rows of 8 columns, if I have 2 rows of 8, 2 times 8 is 16. So this would have an area of 16 square units. You always want to say that it's square. Okay, 16 square units for area. Now, believe it or not, these 2 figures have the exact same area as this one. they take up the exact same amount of space, believe it or not. This one is also 16 square units, and so is this. How is that possible? Well, look, this one was 2 rows of 8, right? It was 2 times 8. This one is in 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. But it doesn't have as many in each row. This only has 1, 2, 3, 4 in each row. So to find its area, I would do 4 rows of 4. 4 times 4. Well, 4 times 4 is still what? It's still 16. It would still be 16 square units. Can you visualize here? Can you see me taking these 4 off? I'm going to draw a red line right here. Can you see me taking these 4 off and sticking them on the bottom there underneath, and I get that same picture? Do you see it? I hope you do. This one down here also has the same area as those two. It has a width of 1. Its length, how many are in that row? There are 16, okay? So 1 times 16 would still give me an area of 16. Even though they're different shapes, they take up the exact same amount of space. They're all 16 square units, and that's what area is. It's how much space is it taking up on a flat surface. They're all the same, okay? This one's not nearly as high as that one, but it's much longer. What did I do? I took all 4 rows and laid them next to one another, and it gave me 16 square inches. So when you think about how you can multiply to get a number, when you think about what the factors are for a number, that'll tell you the different areas you can make. I'm not saying that very clearly. Let me see if I can explain it better with a number here. Let's take the number 12. Think about what you can multiply to give you 12. Well, we know that 1 times 12 would give us 12, right? So I could do 1 times 12. I could do 1 long row, and how many would be in the row? 12, and that would give me an area of 12 square units, right? Okay, what else gives you 12? Oh, I heard somebody say it, 2 times 6. I could do how many rows? 2, and how many would have to be in each row? 6. 2 rows of 6 would also give me 12. So this one would look like 1 long row, right? This one would be a little wider and half the length of that. It'd be 2 rows of that, right? And then I heard somebody say, wait a minute, what about 3 times 4? That would work as well. 3 rows of 4, that would be wider still and not nearly, I didn't do it well. I didn't do it well, it came out looking like a square. Wait a minute. There you go. 3 rows of 4, okay? And now, of course, I would draw them in there, but it would have 3 rows, 4 in each one. You could have the same area, but you can put it together different ways, and it's gonna give you a different looking shape, but it'll take up the exact same amount of space, okay? Take a look at over here. I have a rectangle here. It has a length of 7, a width of 5. How many rows would go across in this one if this side is 5? I'd have how many rows? 5 rows, and what would be in each row? Look at the top. 7 in each row. So instead of sitting and counting, I could do 5 rows of 7. 5 times 7, the perimeter, or the area, here would be 5 times 7. It would be 35 square. This will be square centimeters, not square units, because it's measured in centimeters. I can multiply 7 times 5. Notice I wrote the area inside because that's where area goes. Perimeter's outside, area is inside. I write the area right in the inside of the figure. Take a look at this one. The length is 9, the width is 3, okay? 3 rows, how many in each row? 9, 3 times 9, gotta know your facts. 3 times 9, 27. 27 square inches, okay? No real mystery to area, gang. Okay. Oh, you know what? I do want to talk about one other thing. No, wait a minute. So what if we knew the area and we didn't know a side? What would we do then? What if we didn't? What if we knew the area? Okay. If I knew the area was 28 square inches, and I knew this side was 7 inches, how could I find the missing side? Well, think about it. It's to find the area, we usually multiply, right? So this would be 7 times this would give me 28. I can write that number sentence, can't I? 7 times the blank will be 28. Well, 7 times what gives you 28? we can turn that around, make a division. 28 divided by 7, that would be 4. Okay, that side would be 4. So we can simply do division or missing the missing factor. We can write our number sentence that way. Okay, all right, gang. If you know you can multiply, you got to know your facts. Work it out. All right, length times width. Got to be 2 connecting sides. All right, because it's going to tell you the number of rows and how many are in each row. Okay, there's a sheet that you can work on the link. Click on it, give it a try. Keep working hard. I'm proud of you.